Yes. Recording in progress. Perfect. Okay, so what is this video about? How to attract all the girls and maybe even have an amazing relationship. Who knows? Anything's possible. Yeah, so I've been learning a lot about relationships in the past few years, actually, communication, uh, foundations of relationships, really. So, how do you have amazing relationships? How do you attract awesome, awesome girls? Um, Communication, right? Got to be able to express yourself, confident, know what you want, all good stuff.
Talk about your feelings.
Yes, talking about your feelings, being vulnerable. Um, there's a lot of, I guess, information or like ideas about how uh, like very this bad guy or um, very hard and doesn't feel any emotions and like um, and it's like the masculine energy in a lot of ways. And there's definitely attraction to that, but is it is it the best way? Is it the healthiest way? Um, Probably not. You-
I'm reacting.
You're reacting. So yes, um, essentially, there's two things that I've learned that are really kind of key for great relationships. Number one is really being on the same page, like having the same goals. There's only two reasons why I see relationships don't work. Either you don't have the tools to make it work, like the knowledge, or you have different goals, right? You're going in different directions. And so obviously over time those relations aren't going to work if you were going in two different directions. And a lot of great stories about people that really love each other but want different things, right? Whether it's kids, a family, house, or whatever it is, what kind of lifestyle or uh, different ideas of what um,
The
you
world
want,
should.
yeah, the world should be, or what you want to support in the world, right? And I mean, there's some stories that kind of, it's like, how does that relationship work? But they make it work, and they do it because they have tools. They use things that allow it to work and to be effective to a certain degree. How does it? How do you have it the most effective though? Um, so two reasons why. Either you don't know how to communicate the strategies that you can use to understand each other, uh, to express yourself, to understand why things are the way they are, right? Just as simple as the four agreements, right? We talked about that just earlier today. Now,
Can you name them?
yeah,
Do you remember?
exactly. So first, right, be impeccable with your word. Second, don't take anything personally. Third, be your best. And fourth,
No.
they're maybe not in the exact order, but and then the first one is don't take anything personally. Uh, did I say that one already?
Yeah. The
Okay.
third one is don't make assumptions.
So don't make assumptions. Okay. Don't assume because you make an ass of you and me. Ass you me assume. So um, yeah. So knowing, I guess, knowing what you want, right? Being on the same vision, like purpose in a lot of ways. Uh, so it's good to know what you want. Uh, Otherwise, you can actually get it. If you don't know what you want, you go to a restaurant. It's like, oh, what do you want? What do you want to order? I don't know. Well, how do you know you're gonna like it? You gotta
People like
try
that. Some
something.
people like to just,
Yeah, try whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, but the more you do that, the more you have you get to know what you like, what you don't like, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's place for both, maybe, but you're gonna be happiest when you have an idea of what you want. It could be very vague too. I want a person who cares about me, right? Very vague. And I think you
I
can
don't
put it
want
right
it
here.
It's like
Oh yeah. lighting issues, but it's all good. You know, we just roll with it. Um, yeah, so you can be vague with what you want, and over time, it's even easier to know what you don't want, right? It's a lot easier to eliminate than to add the best thing, for example. It's hard to know exactly like what you're looking for, but it's easy to know what you're not looking for, right? And a lot of times that's a good place to start, right? Just eliminate, right? Things that you don't want in a relationship. So have an idea where to direct that. Um, so ideally, you want to have like a list of things that you're looking for, things that you want to be on the same page for, and then you can actually bring that to the other person, right? Who you're looking at or whatever, um, and really understand where what the other person needs, what the other person uh, is looking for, and so yeah, getting on the same page because a relationship has a purpose. You're helping each other, supporting each other to go into to do something to just have a best life, really, ideally, um, and and so that direction is definitely important, but then the education is also important. Like uh, ideally, you want to be working on yourself, right? Um, trying to improve yourself and things like that. And about that, it could be easy to try to change for the other person and kind of lose yourself in that, which is not best. Definitely want to avoid that and really change for yourself first. Uh, and it's hard to love other people when you don't love yourself, right? And there's a lot of great uh, videos and all that about that. Uh, Self-love is really the foundation for loving others. So yeah, is it how to have the best relationship, right? So
Okay,
start off,
first, know what you want.
yeah,
Make a list.
make yeah,
Know what you want, know what you don't want, and share it.
yeah, exactly,
Second, work on yourself.
yeah, exactly.
Third,
So third is essentially it's kind of like a combination of both. It's like make agreements, right? Um, a lot of relationships today are based on feelings and emotions. Oh, this person's so attractive. Like, oh yes. Um, but then those feelings change. Those feelings change, and then what? Like the next person who's attractive, like now you're gonna go towards them, and it's like, where's that? How is that sustainable? How is that gonna give you the best relationship possible? Because obviously there's not too much stability there. It's like it's very shallow, right? There's a lot more depth that you can have to have the best relationship, and now that's what we're talking about. And certainty really comes down to knowing a lot of these things. It's like, okay, I know where I'm going, and if you're down with it, perfect. If not, that's okay.
so what kind of agreement could you give us an example?
Yeah. So I'll give you an example of some of the agreements that I had, right? And there's different. These agreements definitely can be looked at like on a bi-weekly basis kind of thing. Uh, Even bi-weekly is not the right thing. It's like every 2 weeks, right? You can look at those agreements, adjust, make adjustments, uh, and they can get more precise as you go, as you get to know each other and everything. Uh, but it can be very vague too at the beginning. So you're kind of getting idea and you're honing like different uh, areas, different things, and then eventually you kind of get more specific. And like, okay, what is that? What does this very vague thing actually mean? What does it look like to do that? And so you get more specific as you go, and you improve that relationship as you go that way. So for example, like one of the agreements that we made at the beginning, right, is like, yes. Um, so wanting like the best life possible, right? So it's very vague, right? Again, doesn't need to be super specific, but that's a way of setting things up in order to get more specific about what that means. And so a lot of people can have like a a casual life, um, you know, not really, um, I guess, more comfortable, things like that, where you have a job,
Mhm.
you have stability, and you go on vacations like,
You have a job that you don't really like, but you have a house, a dog, and you go on vacation. It's good. Like, it's okay.
yeah. And a lot of people, and maybe people settle for that because they don't think they can have more. But an alternative is really taking as much responsibility as possible to have the biggest impact as possible. And I would say that's what leads to an extraordinary life, like really putting yourself out there, uh, really building something that is bigger than you and your family, like that affects the whole world. Uh, and so, yeah, very big um, vision, very big purpose to truly have a big impact. And so, I would say that's an extraordinary life. Like to have an extraordinary life, you need to
Okay.
do extraordinary things.
Yeah, that's still vague, right?
Yes.
So
So
I have one.
you have one?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Say you wanna do sport,
Hmm.
but you cannot do sport because you're really tired all the time and not motivated and stuff. So then you say, okay, let's keep each other motivated.
Yeah,
And so if you don't want to do it, I'm going to say, do it,
yeah.
and you'll do it.
So that's the power of having an agreement, right? Uh, you agree that you want an extraordinary life, and so the things that you agree to, if they look like they're going to lead to that, then you can keep each other accountable. Like, hey, you said you do that. We agreed on X. Like, if this means that you're doing X, then I'm gonna push you to do that. And because we both agreed, it's a lot easier to be like, oh yeah, okay, I'll do it. Because we both want the same thing. So the power of being on the same page and everything. Um,
Yeah,
Makes sense?
makes sense.
Cool.
Do we want to keep going?
Um,
But how to attract the girls, though?
yeah, how do you attract the girls? Essentially, um, there's like masculine and feminine energy. And the masculine energy is structure, and the feminine uh, aspect is energy. I guess I said it wrong. It's not the types of energy, it's the characteristics. You have feminine and masculinity. Masculinity is structure, femininity is energy. And so, in order to attract all the girls, you gotta get your structure down, at least to a certain degree. Um, so, yeah, um, having a sense of idea where you're going, sense of purpose,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of interesting stuff about that, about how women are kind of seen as like sex objects, but men are seen as success objects. So, and there's a lot of negative, all sorts of things through both of those. But essentially, you have to know where you're going. You have to have an idea of where you're going, so that you can find a partner that is on the same page as you. and that comes with time, with certainty, with confidence. Because if you don't have a purpose, then it's hard to really connect with someone and be on the same page because you don't really know where you're going. So it's like suggestions here and there. It's like, yeah, good. It's good to be able to be open-minded and go in different directions and things like that. But ideally, you want to have a vision and a purpose and stay and keep that structure. Like, don't just bend and do everything that the other person wants. Like, you have a structure. Like, keep yourself accountable to that. And if people distract you from that, then it shows how much you care about yourself and how you value um, yourself in the end. And so, yeah, again, it starts with you and knowing what you want. It's really that simple.
Make a list.
Make a list. So many lists to be made. Uh, and yeah, there's a lot of foundations that come into play as well, of like the things that you know, the things that you will react to unconsciously, and a lot of programs that will run, especially in relationships, um, especially when they're getting longer term and things like that. Like programs come out, um, and so to be able to have those foundations, those principles, or those agreements really make all the difference. Because the agreements are there whether you know it or not. They're just maybe not agreed upon. The agreement's there, you just don't know that they're there. It's like, okay, I agree to um, make you food or something, but was it actually agreed upon, or is it just kind of going as like a habit, or like, okay, this makes sense, but it's yeah, it's good to have those agreements in place so that you're on the same page and you communicate, and there's no there's no expectations, right?
Mhm.
A lot of things fall because of the expectations that you put, and no one knows what the expectations are, and then relationships fall apart because you didn't agree upon it. It's like
Mhm.
you're expecting things,
Mhm.
make it known that that's what you're expecting for yourself.
Yeah.
You can start
Yeah.
there. Um,
Like being disappointed all the time.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, disappointment. It's like so many times I realize that I'm disappointed, but it's like unrealistic.
Hmm.
It's like, how am I even expecting this? Like, I don't even.
Sometimes it is, but if the other person doesn't think that it's realistic, just, he won't do it. She won't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, respecting a life. I feel like this video is going on way
Yeah, I
too
think we
long.
have to stop it.
So
36 minutes? No.
no, not 36 minutes. It's just how long this video has been
Okay.
going. Um, well, yeah, this is a learning process in terms of explaining what all this is. A lot of points. So yeah, if you
Yeah.
want more,
And it's 1 in the morning and
yeah,
it's not planned.
no, exactly. Off the cuff, natural, authentic, all that good stuff.
With natural authentic light in my eyes.
Yeah, so that's all for now. Uh, if you want more, let us know. Good night.
Good.